How efficient is a house? Well, first they say 10 to 15% of homes in the U.S. are vacant. They are not used at all because they are a second property, vacation property. They're just not used. So there's a 10 to 15% ratio that they're totally inefficient. They're just not used. They're just an asset allocation for whatever reason. Maybe they're even stuck in probate. Kids inherited it, and it's just sitting there until it gets dissolved. Now, the other 90 to 85% of homes, I would say that a good percentage of them are probably only used at night, meaning that a big portion of the population, right, they wake up in the morning, they go to work, and they're not actually using their home. They really are just using their home to come home after work, to sleep, and to cook dinner. And usually they're cooking dinner at home because they have a house, and eating out every day therefore isn't practical. Now, for the family, while even they may be busy all day, maybe the mother and father both work, the kids are in school. So for most families, again, still most of the time, they're probably not in their house. But certainly, again, it is practical that a family would have a house because, you need somewhere to go at night. Even a single person would need somewhere to go at night. And I admit that as a nomad, that probably is the only time of the day that a home base serves value for me. The only point of the population I would say definitely would need a home base is the very elderly or sick. Certainly you can get sick or hurt at any time. Certainly once you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, you have to have some type of resting area. Okay, not that you want to be in your house all day, but you need some stability. Stability for the very young, for young children, and for the very old is important because you're at a volatile stage in life. When you're very young, you need stability to balance your volatility. When you're very old, you need stability because you're kind of like returning to a baby. The middle-aged person probably can do the most venturing out, probably needs the least stability because they're at this point in life, this middle ground, where they should be relatively well balanced enough to endure volatility in the outdoors. And they should have the energy, the age, the wherewithal. Again, there's always that exception that if you get hurt or injured, that home is your sanctuary. So, but in the big scheme of things, it is something that I struggle with as a nomad, the efficiency of a house. Your house outside of having children is your biggest expense. So I think about, you spend all this money on a home base, you're really probably only there at night, and you really don't want your house to be a place that makes you stay there, right? Like, sometimes I struggle with that. Well, I like to be efficient, especially as I get older. I like to use what I have. I like to get the most out of something. But in doing so, I don't want a home base to become an anchor, meaning that I feel I have to be there because I'm not getting the money out of it if I'm not using it. Now, I don't like storage units. I don't like things I don't use. I like optimizing things. True efficiency. But, you truly go back to, go and buy a house in an area you want, below your means, and you can deal with the inefficiency of not being there all the time. Is that valuable? Well, it can be, because it's an asset allocation. It would tend to hold value or appreciate at a certain level. You need to go somewhere eventually. It could work, but there's risk there. What are the risks? Well, depending on the time of the market you buy it, the value may not be that great of upside. You still have to deal with maintenance and emotional attachment in addition to physical attachment. And, there is something that when you own something, it owns you a little bit. So, there's no true decision you can make when it comes to buying a house that, look, there's no house that's truly efficient. Even a smart house, even a house in an area you want to live. But if you're very older or young or raising a family, it makes sense. Single person, middle age, not so much. That's the situation I'm in. Excuse the sun here. But what I would tell you is that my thoughts are conflicted because, when you have a car, you live out of a car, when you're a nomad, you pretty much use everything you own on a daily basis, and you're very efficient. And that's very empowering. It feels very good. I love it. I love always having everything I own right with me. I'm never missing a shirt. I'm using all the capacity. Yeah, the car gets beat up, the car gets dirty. You use everything you have, but it's great to feel like you're using everything you have. But I am at this season where I think about, I get like a motorhome, a Class B. I'm in that same mode, but I add a little bit of comfort. But then you still have that parking issue. Campgrounds can solve it though. And stealth camping, you just got to move around a lot. So I go back to, again, the efficiency of that is when you're in the middle age, when you hopefully have your finances in order. Hopefully you have your age, and you do have your age if you're middle age, and you have your health as long as that can hold up. So, that's the time to be on the road. And no matter how I cut the home base, even an RV lot, right? Even an RV lot, it's still going to be, there's going to be a lot of times that a lot of hours in a day where I'm not there. And if I am there, it's like, well, is this thing becoming an anchor? The counterbalance is, well, if it's by the beach, where else do you want to be? You still want to move around a little bit, But I often talk to people, especially like in a similar situation, and they may be kind of like me, like they're not really home that much, but there's something, I guess, psychologically about having a home base that you're willing to deal with some inefficiency. Because in many regards, depending on who you are, it could be more efficient to just rent as you go if you're on the nomad life. Mix in stealth camping, some short-term rentals, etc., etc. But that's a very volatile life. And again, there's some risks there. You take a higher risk, you're more efficient, but you're taking a higher risk because at any time anything go wrong, you could get priced out of the market, etc., etc., right? So this is the tennis match of the home base for the nomad, which if you become a nomad, your ultimate dilemma will always be a home base. Do you want one? Do you need one? Eventually it comes to that point, it may or may not, but eventually it probably does. And there's different seasons of the nomad life. There's breaking free, there's becoming a nomad. And I think when you become a nomad, don't go buying a home base right away, right? But I would say, like, on your journey, start to figure out where you want to live, the climate and the culture. And no climate, no culture is perfect. You're going to make some sacrifices, but try not to make too many and take your time, because it's a big purchase. Take your time. And work on your money, work on your health, work on your daily routine. Your daily routine is your life. If your daily routine, most of it is not in your house, how efficient is it? Well, again, it's an asset allocation. It's a little bit psychological. And at the end of the day, you got to go somewhere. And if you bought where you want to live, you deal with a little bit of inefficiency for the other benefits. But, again, a single person, you have a lot of liberty. And it's something you will have to consider, that I'm considering, and that I'm sharing with you in this video. If this video helped you, please click that thumbs up. You want to support the channel, please click that blue join button. Thank you to all my members. I truly appreciate you. And I truly enjoy sharing my thoughts. I truly feel in a good space overall. But when I get to this next level of home base, I get a high anxiety. But, I've gotten that anxiety before in new career goals, and new jobs, and new things. So, anxiety and stress is not always bad, but you certainly don't want to rush into anything when it comes to expenditures. And a house is an expenditure unless you're renting it out. And if you're renting it out, it's a job. And some people who don't like to work think they're going to buy a house and rent it out. Well, if you don't like to work, remember, being a landlord's a job. Now, real estate works for some people, but I don't want to be a landlord. But either way, again, I hope these videos help. Keep pushing forward. Keep showing up. Showing up is 80 to 90% of success. Okay. Thank you for watching. Peace.